later took. Now Fox News has learned some U.S. investigators believe that there are Israelis again very much engaged in spying in and on the U.S., who may have known things they didn't tell us before September 11th. Fox News correspondent Carl Cameron has details in the first of a 4-part series.
Give us the story on the dancing Israelis. According to...
I'll give you the story on the dancing Israelis, and I think the more hardcore evidence of Israel involvement is on the follow-up anthrax attack. But
right, we'll get to that. I have that written down. Yeah.
As for the Israelis, what happens is 3 guys across the Hudson River at Doric Tower, which is on a high-rise, so even though it's not on the edge of New Jersey, you can see clearly across the river to where the World Trade Centers used to be. You can see the Freedom Tower from there right now, and I've been twice, mapped this out. 3 individuals were witnessed high-fiving each other, flicking lighters, posing for pictures, hugging, just going nuts with jubilation after a plane crashed into the World Trade Center, the north side of the North Tower. Now, a normal reaction to a plane crash is, oh, that's horrible. I could see taking a picture of it maybe, but not laughing and high-fiving and flicking lighters and standing on the roof of your van. So a couple people, well, a lot of people witnessed it, but we'll start chronologically. A woman who saw that a plane had hit the building called her neighbor, said, who she knew would have a good view too, and say, hey, look at this. She looks outside, sees that a plane had just hit because they heard the kaboom. She goes to her window. She looks, and then she looks down at the parking lot and sees these people celebrating. She's like, why are they celebrating this? Right? Even if you thought it was a plane crash, what's so funny about a plane crash? Because their story is, oh, we thought it was an accident. Really? Why are you flicking lighters and so on? And why'd you have a map highlighted? And why were you there the previous day? And
right.
Whatever. So, Maria Septinelli was her name, and which is, I think, Italian for September. So it's one of those odd, we live in a simulation things, whatever. Her name is September. But she waited till later when her husband got home to call the police. So they put out a bolo. These 3 guys left. They went to a gas station, then they went to another moving company called White Glove Movers to meet this girl, Karen, who had been at a party with them the day before. They had a huge party September 10th out of the blue, as you do on a random Monday in September, right, in Brooklyn, where the Gersberg brothers lived. So the 3 guys that had been seen, their names were Sivan Gersberg and Jorn Schmel and Oded Eldner.
Right.
And then they go to White Glove. Apparently, they'd also been witnessed with a video camera. That video camera disappears, but the still camera they still had on their person. When they left White Glove, they had 2 more people with them, Paul Gersberg, who was Sivan's older brother, and Omer Mamari, who was like asleep in the back with a pair of skis. They get pulled over in East Rutherford, and the first words out of Sivan's mouth is, we're not your problem, your problems are our problems, the Palestinians are the problem, right? They didn't know that...
that's, by the way, that's according to U.S. like all of this that he's saying right now, there are a lot of, cops say that, U.S. officials say that, so this is why I wanted to focus on the facts.
Our names are the police report. They're not in the FBI document, but because we already had the police report, we could go through the FBI document and put their names in. You can go to dancingisraelis.com, and the first tower gets hit at 8:48 or 8:46, and we have timestamps of their vans pulling in front of Doric Tower to go around back, stamped at 8:31, which was sent to Langley to be analyzed. It is at the bottom of the 5th section of the FBI report if you want to go look it up. And we have other witnesses, 2 guys painting a billboard that had seen the van there, oddly parked kind of diagonal facing the towers at the end of the parking lot for some reason, and another truck behind it. But the key witness is the one that actually wrote down the license plate, which is why they got pulled over later. And lo and behold, it did have Urban Moving Systems written on the side of the van. They go to Urban Moving Systems, and they find that the owner, Dominic Suter, just flees the country, leaves furniture stranded everywhere. There's 16 computer hard drives, which is excessive for, a furniture moving company. They interviewed people that work there and said, they'd often have Hebrew-only meetings, and they would always say all this anti-American stuff. And one quote was like, give us 20 years, we'll take over your media and run your country. Just all this anti-American rhetoric out of this group. And the more suspicious, when they get pulled over, they had almost $5,000 on their person in a little pouch. They all had tickets to leave the country, the immediate destinations like Germany, Australia, India. They're going everywhere. Now, think of this. These are not some Israeli tourists. They got some minimum wage job in New Jersey moving furniture. Just who happened to possibly film the first plane hitting, definitely celebrated right as it hit. They've got $5,000, and then they're going to fly to all these exotic locations on their little salary on a random Tuesday in September. Bull. And then all of them lied about where they were. And it didn't add up. So they kept them there for 71 days, and then Chertoff swooped in and had them let go. And that was that. But in the report, the Miami field office actually contacted Newark to say that one of these moving companies actually moved, I believe it was, the guy that was in the photo with Atta in Maine. His name starts with O. This is how I'm starting to forget stuff. It's Omari.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yep.
Alomari. Yeah, Alomari. I always get Alomari and Omar Miami mixed up for some reason. Yeah, it doesn't matter. One of the hijackers had been moved from the New York area to Florida. And a lot of these guys, like Joran Schmel, who's pictured in overalls with his curly hair, he lived in Drexel there in Florida, and they're always just miles away from where the hijacker cells are. And we have other reports of the more senior Israelis that were living next door to Mohammed Atta, like actually living next door. And that was part of this art student ring, which is just put pause on that, and I'll come back to it. But everywhere that Al-Qaeda went, Israel was right behind them, right? And these moving companies, so they find a notepad in the van with these phone numbers for Classic International Movers, White Glove Movers, Urban Movers, Max Movers, Moshe Movers, and I think International Movers Inc. or something like that. And Classic International is the one that was moving a hijacker around. And then they find that Urban Moving Systems and the Max Movers is actually the same outfit. And they claim that, we just say Max Movers for long distance and Urban for short. But that doesn't really pan out because they find Urban Moving System vans all the way in the middle of Pennsylvania. So I don't know if that's considered short distance from New Jersey, but, what were they doing there? And those people lied and got caught because there were toll receipts showing that they had left New York to go to Pennsylvania on the day of 9/11. And so they're all lying through the teeth, but nothing really comes of it. And the report is, 80-something% redacted. It's like 1,800 pages. Most of it you can't even read. But I went through and did a Rosetta Stone and found the testimony of each of the people. And I walked through it in my film called The Empire Unmasked. It was updated as recently as last year. It's on my website. And they're definitely guilty. But then you combine that with the fact that vans were found with bombs. And then on the day of 9/11, another van on the George Washington Bridge or near the George Washington Bridge, as reported by CBS and CBS 2, Dana, let's see, her name was Marie something, and Dan Rathers both reported on it.